How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? I'm just in my studio trying to do a little bit of work.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're still in New York. You staying?
Yeah, I'm still in New York. My studio mate, his name is Nick Sider. He went to Philadelphia though, so I'm here by myself.
Well, that's nice to have some privacy.
Yeah,
It's 7 p.m. Everybody's freaking out outside.
yeah, that's true. I can hear it in my studio too.
Where's your studio?
It's in West Harlem. It's on 125th Street.
Oh, cool. And where do you live?
I live on the east side on like 96th Street in Manhattan. I
All
moved to Queens initially when I first came to New York City, then I lived in Queens.
right, cool. So I have my 10 questions prepared about anything except for art. And, I was really excited to talk to you because you grew up in Pittsburgh, went to Philly, right?
Yeah. I grew up in Pittsburgh and all my family is still there. So they're sheltering in place in Pittsburgh. And then I went to college in Philadelphia.
When we talk about Pennsylvania, there's really only one question in my mind. And this is really pertinent since you've lived on both ends of the state. So, in terms of gas stations,
hmm
do you prefer Wawa?
I I did not grow up with Wawa, so I don't quite have the love for Wawa that people on the east side have for it.
Mama, I love the Wawa.
And when I first moved to Philadelphia, people were talking about Wawa and how it's like a place to hang out. They were like, yeah, we just go hang out in the Wawa after school.
Did you
It's a
ever
whole destination.
did you have adventures in the Wawa?
I have gone to a few of them, yeah. And they were pretty good, yeah.
In general, would you say that you are passionate about gas stations or neutral at best?
Um, I would say neutral, because I don't do very much driving, so I don't have very much experience with needing the gas stations all the time.
I see. When you do go to gas stations, what condiment is your favorite? Like, which one do you most spiritually relate to?
Hmm. I would say ketchup, probably. Yeah, because you don't realize it at first, but ketchup has a lot of sweetness to it. It has like a lot of sugar in it. And I kind of have a sweet tooth, so I've been trying to avoid like sugars in other forms, but in ketchup, it's irresistible. I can't not have the ketchup. So I would say if there was a condiment that was in my soul, it would be ketchup.
I love that. And do you feel like you're a little sweet? Like maybe people wouldn't guess, but you are?
I think so, yeah. I think I'm I'm generally a pretty gentle person. I think ketchup is a pretty gentle condiment. Yeah.
Kind of related to this time. What is your favorite board game?
Hmm. This is a tough one.
I have many favorite board
Yeah. Yeah. Me and my friends, we sometimes have like a board game night. So we play a variety of board games. Um, my gut said Settlers of Catan,
games. Ooh,
but then I just remembered that there's a cool game that we got that I have a lot of fun playing called Evolution, where you actually make your own little species of animal and they compete against each other for food, and you see which species live and which species evolve and which species die out. So I would say that could be one of my favorite unique games to play. There's a game that my sister gave me for Christmas called Wingspan, which is all about birds and different bird species. You learn facts about them while you're like collecting eggs and building little nests. So it's a really fun game too.
that's awesome. Especially because I know that you're so passionate about birds.
Yeah, I love birds a lot, so that game was cool. And the artwork was really awesome too.
This is actually not on my list, but I think considering your work, it's kind of a no-brainer. What do you feel your spirit animal is?
Hmm. This is another tough one, but I'm gonna go with squirrels. Actually, I'm gonna go with a squirrel. When I was little, we had a bunch of squirrels in our backyard that we would feed, and eventually had a whole little herd of squirrels that would come every day, like about eight of them. And after watching them every day, you start to be able to tell them apart. You start to be able to see, oh, this one is the one that has the fuzzy ears, and this one is the one that's a little more gray. And so we gave them names and watched all their antics. And it was just such a fun activity to do. I think I would be a squirrel. Yeah.
Really interesting. That would actually not have been my guess because I feel like you're very placid. I'm not sure what I would have guessed, but squirrels are delightful.
Yeah, yeah. During this time when we're staying home, I've been watching the pigeons outside my window a lot more,
Yeah.
and watching like all their little social interactions. And I noticed there's a lady who feeds them every day, who I never noticed before, but every day she goes out with birdseed and feeds them on the corner. So it's cool to be able to observe outside your window and see all this like saga of nature taking place.
Mm-hmm. And have you seen the headlines about the animals taking to the streets in the absence of humans?
Oh yeah, I have seen some of those. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Great if they stayed and then we started to live in this hybrid animal-human society.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. And the sea turtles on the beaches, that's pretty cool. They can like lay their eggs because the beaches are empty, stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw some of that they have an easier time laying their eggs now, so that's cool.
Totally. I know. When I was in Mexico, the sea turtles are like a big attraction there. There used to be swarms and swarms of them, but have become more corporatized and more populated. They've been having a more difficult time. So some people that I knew down there actually played the role of the moon one night, holding a flashlight so the sea turtles could get where they needed to go.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe in ghosts?
Hmm. I I would say no. I don't think I believe in ghosts. Definitely when I was a kid, I totally believed in ghosts. And I've had some friends who have had experiences where they're like, yes, ghosts are real. I totally saw one. And so I guess maybe I kind of selectively could believe in ghosts for the fun of it, but I think I don't really believe it anymore.
A ghost?
I've was staying in the studio late at night, and I heard this rattling sound. So I went to try to explore what is this rattling sound. I thought maybe it was something with the water system, and then I realized it was coming from this metal mug that one of my studio mates had put on a shelf, and it was just shaking. This metal mug was just like vibrating. So I like touched it just to see what would happen, and it stopped. It just stopped vibrating. Never was like making any sounds ever again. So I was scared that time. I was like, this is a little bit creepy. This is scary. Then I assumed it must be something, maybe a subway was going by and it was shaking the building. I just assumed it was something else. But that was pretty terrifying.
When it comes down to, energy and how far you can go and understand its intelligence, that makes me kind of believe in ghosts, but I've never seen one. And I feel
Hmm.
like ghosts. I am extremely anxious. I can do anything.
Hmm.
So we'll
Yeah,
see. Please
yeah.
do keep me up to date if you see one.
Okay, I will.
The other question that I have, especially because the last time that we spoke about your work, you were telling me that you had started to include plants more
Hmm.
on the landscape. So I was wondering if you have a favorite flower.
Yeah, I do. My favorite flower is actually columbine flowers.
Oh, really?
They have kind of a shape that looks like a star, and then they have long petals that come off of them, and it kind of looks like a little tiny like shooting star. And so they were always my favorite ever since I was little. We had a garden that was in between my parents' house and my grandparents' house, so we would grow columbines there. And it's a shame that ever since the Columbine shooting happened, whenever somebody says Columbine, they think of that school and the shooting that happened. But the school was named after this flower. So, yeah, that is my favorite flower.
Cool. Wait, I have to show you something. Ta-da! This is only going to reinforce you don't like, but this is the first book on this round is Columbine.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow, that's very timely.
I guess, yeah. And it's funny because I was just looking at it today and thinking, wow, that was so long ago. But
Hmm.
particularly have a lot to say about it. I just take it in. Another thing, all from our conversations about your work, is that you like to watch documentaries or listen to podcasts. Is that still the case?
Yeah, yeah. I definitely I watch a lot of PBS online and stream documentaries. Yeah. Listen to NPR, listen to podcasts.
Nice. I have more sugar questions. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
I like strawberry.
Yeah?
Yep. Yeah, strawberry.
I remember my first time having strawberry ice cream. For some reason, it just always stuck with me. And it was from Hardee's. Do you ever eat at Hardee's?
I think I have a couple times maybe. Yeah.
Don't anymore. And what's your favorite topping?
Hmm. I would say caramel.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so.
Yeah.
What about Nutella?
Nutella's good too. I like Nutella in crepes. That's really good with banana.
Mm-hmm. I think Nutella should be illegal. It tastes way too good.
Yeah, it's so good. When I was I studied abroad in Rome, and Nutella is a much bigger deal there than it was here in America at the time. Like in America, it was kind of like, oh, a special rare treat. But there you see advertisements being like, eat Nutella for breakfast. Just put it on toast and eat it every day. And I remember being surprised because here it's more of like a special dessert thing.
Mm-hmm. I think in Rome they have it figured out.
Yeah. And they sold huge jars of Nutella, way bigger than we can buy here, like giant jars of it.
It sounds very dangerous.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that surprised you about studying abroad?
I was genuinely surprised that it's true that the food tastes better in Rome than it does here. Like people are always saying like, oh, the food in Rome is so good. And I was surprised to find out that it's actually true. It actually just tastes better.
No, I believe this. But I'm not very good at eating for pleasure anyways. We have a question from Deep Space, which gives me a question. You know, I saw when you sent photos of you with the shield,
Hmm.
I just took it at face value. I was like, yes, she's holding a shield. Holding a shield. But do you actually LARP?
I do, yeah. Yeah. I got into it because my boyfriend, when he was in college, he started LARPing, and then eventually he started a group in when we're allowed to like get together and play games with other people in the park. Then yeah, we LARP in Central Park, and we play a game. There's all different kinds of LARPs. They all have different rules and different degrees of how much magic is involved or how much it's about the physical fighting. So the game that we play is called Dagger Gear, and it's a little more focused on the physical fighting aspects, more sport-like, not as much magic as some other LARPs, but still dressing up in costume and hitting each other with swords and shields. Yeah.
That's incredible. I only LARPed once. That's also for being very good at it. Do you ever get afraid?
When I first started doing it, because my boyfriend was like, "Oh, you should try this. It's really fun." I was scared at first. I wasn't sure, like, is it gonna hurt when I get hit, or like I was afraid to like run up to people and just start hitting them with a sword. But you do get kind of used to it, and it becomes more fun as you go along.
You feel very confident in your LARPing?
Yeah. Now, yeah, I'm more comfortable with it, and it's fun. Yeah, I have a lot of fun doing it.
Switching gears a little bit, what was your first job?
My first job was being a camp counselor at a summer camp for little kids. It was at the Pittsburgh Center for the Arts. So kids were making a lot of art, doing ceramics, and I was just helping the teachers and watching the kids. So that was my very first job, yeah.
That's awesome. Was it your favorite?
I did really enjoy teaching and working with the kids, and I actually then when I moved to New York City, I got a job teaching art classes to little kids at a school in Lower Manhattan. So I definitely used my experience being a camp counselor to help with that. I didn't study teaching at all, but I had little sisters and a lot of little cousins, and I basically just kind of winged it and learned as I went along.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that, I mean, I think teaching must be really fulfilling, right?
Yeah, especially when the kids are really enjoying it and then they tell you like, "Oh, this is so fun," or like, "We had a great time," or they enjoy making the art or making art at home too, then it's fun to watch them have grow and have fun with it.
Absolutely. Did you ever work a job that you didn't think you would ever do? Like, was there something strange that you didn't expect?
I had a terrible job experience one time. This one didn't last very long. I was working at an antique store on like 57th Street, something like that. And I didn't, this was when I first moved to New York and I was looking for a job. I didn't have the teaching job yet. So I was just replying and responding to everything I could find on like Craigslist or any of those job sites. So this antiques store was looking for somebody to do research on their antiques and write up information about them. Mm-hmm. So I worked there for like 2 days. But it was really difficult. The boss wanted everything to be like a very specific certain way, and when I couldn't make it be exactly perfect, then he was like, "Well, I can only pay you like half." And I was like, "I really need more to like live in this city." So I ended up only doing that for like 2 days. Mm-hmm. But I looked up his store on Yelp reviews later, and he had terrible Yelp reviews. Customers were saying he had like stolen their watches, would like take stuff to say he was going to repair it and then never gave it back. So it was probably a good thing I didn't work there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think how you moved to New York is because you found that job and like that was your first foothold, or
No, actually, I moved to New York not having a job, but having some friends who were living in Queens,
Mhm.
and they had an opening in their apartment, and they were like, "Oh, you should move to New York because it's the city of art. You should come here." So I was really scared. I had no source of income, but I had like a little bit of savings and figured I'll move to New York and then I'll figure it out. So I moved in and we were living at that time in like a basement apartment. It was one of those like illegal basement apartments where it like shouldn't actually be rented because it doesn't have like all the fire codes or anything, but it was really cheap and it had a backyard. So we really liked it. And then I tried to get a job and did a couple little things that didn't work out, but then ultimately got the teaching job. So by the time fall came around, then I could teach at the school.
absolutely. When you were in elementary school, when you were like one of the students that you teach, um, what did you think that you would be when you grew up?
I definitely wanted to be an illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to illustrate like children's books, or cards, anything. I definitely wanted to be an illustrator when I was a little kid. And then when I was in, it wasn't until I was in high school that I realized that there are people out there who just make their own art of whatever they want, and they just say, "This is my art, and here's what it is." And I was like, wow, that's an even better job. So then I decided to pursue fine art.
So what you didn't know that art existed until
Yeah. I just didn't even really think that that was a job. Like I figured if you're good at drawing and painting, then you would be an illustrator. Like that's it. I didn't even realize that there were like fine artists.
do you like swimming in the ocean?
Um, I'm not quite a big fan of swimming in the ocean just because when the salt water gets in your hair, then it gets all messed up and you have to shower, like guaranteed. Um, but I do like going to the ocean and seeing like the expanse. It just goes on for forever. It is very calming, so I like to go to the ocean, yeah.
Me too. What music would people be surprised to know that you like? Is there anything?
Maybe EDM.
You like EDM?
I, yeah, EDM is great. I didn't really know very much about it till we had some friends who were really into it, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you have to come to this concert." So we went to a bunch of like EDM concerts with them, and it was super fun. Yeah.
Do you like Skrillex? I think that's
Yeah. Yeah, Skrillex is cool.
yeah. I think that would probably be the thing that people would be most surprised to know that I like is Skrillex. Um, yeah, I was talking to my other TK about this. Like, what do you think the next hot genre of music will be? Because dubstep was like a revolution in its own right, and now there's EDM. So what else can we do? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there will probably be some kind of music in the future that we won't think is anything like music at all. Like
Yeah,
maybe it won't even have a beat. Maybe it'll just be sounds just randomly. Something so beyond what we could think music is going to be.
that's true. And like when you talk about art too, which we're not supposed to, but I'm going to a little bit, like I think about all the ideas having been had, like what experimentation is left. I think that whatever art too will probably be something that nobody ever thought was art. But
Hmm.
I saw a Tumblr post of somebody just who was at a gallery and they put glasses on the ground and people started taking pictures of the glasses. So I don't know if that'll be possible the way you believe it's possible in music. There's one question that I've been asking every artist in the series, and it's very important. So answer carefully.
Okay.
If you were a kitchen utensil, what kitchen utensil would you be?
I would definitely be a spoon.
A spoon.
Yeah. I think this goes to the ketchup. Also, with I think spoons are round and sweet. They don't necessarily spear things, though I spear stuff when I am LARPing. But I think my being is more like a spoon.
I was gonna say, please don't tell me that you eat ketchup with a spoon.
No, I wouldn't eat the ketchup with a spoon. Maybe the Nutella, though.
Well, I really appreciate your time. Do you have any new work or like virtual shows coming up that you want to tell audience about before we sign?
Yeah, I've got a piece in a virtual show with Gristle Gallery. They have a show of bird art right now that's on their website, and they're going to have a new show the theme is Knights and Monsters. So I'm going to have a piece in that show coming up too. And then also Deep Space Gallery, who has been here asking questions. I've got some pieces in their mothership show that got extended online. So I think that is still up right now, but maybe going to close soon. So yeah, there's two things.
That's awesome. Well, thank you again for your time. Do tell me if you see a ghost.
Okay, I will.
I every time I see a pigeon, I think of you very often.